Hello, I'm just getting off work for Labor Day weekend, and my wife and I are going to Cape Cod area to visit a friend and see a bunch of historic sites. So I thought I would take you along with me and show you all the cool stuff that we're going to see. So I need to go pick her up, so I will see you guys a little bit later.
As with most trips, this one started out with a lot of driving. Our first stop on this trip was Discussett Beach. This was our first time to Cape Cod, and Labor Day weekend was a beautiful time to go. Typically, my wife and I go to the beach in North Carolina on Christmas Day. This was one of the few times I have ever been on a beach during the summer. We walked along the beach and out onto a jetty while talking about life and breathing in the sweet, salty air of vacation. Our friend then took us to see the Nobska Lighthouse. The original lighthouse was established in 1828. It was later replaced by this lighthouse that was constructed in 1876 and stands 42 feet tall. It is made of a cast iron shell lined with brick and stands 67 feet above sea level. It flashes every 6 seconds and is visible 17 miles out to sea. As we were getting ready to leave, we walked back up to our car only to find it blocked in by a large wedding party. We waited about 15 minutes before trying to get our car out. I have to say though, wedding pictures are a lot more entertaining as a bystander. That evening, we all ate dinner at the Flying Bridge restaurant overlooking the water. I ordered the lobster bake and we had all agreed it was probably a casserole of some type. This came instead. I was surprised to say the least. The food was great and I would highly recommend it to anybody. The next day, we took a tour of Plymouth. Our friend grew up in the area and has been involved in the history there since she was a child. She has given countless tours of the area, and it was amazing to hear the history from somebody who grew up immersed in it. We saw the old mill where they harnessed the power of the river for the colony to make bread. Behind the mill was the fish staircase, where fish will swim upriver during their migration, which was a lot smaller than I thought it would be. Walking along the river, we found probably the best spot I have ever seen to read a book. There was a spring after spring welling up along the path feeding into the river. If I had to start a colony, this would definitely be the spot I'd pick too. As we toured Plymouth, we stopped at several monuments to the Pilgrims. This first statue is the Pilgrim Maiden, whose courage, fortitude, and devotion brought a new nation into being. This monument stood to honor all the single women who helped establish the colony. As we walked, we saw Leyden Street, which was the main street of the colony. My wife and I, we both love bookstores, and so we stopped at this small bookshop and found a most interesting curse on would-be book thieves. It was also one of the coolest bookstores I have ever been in. From there, we went to see the monument to the forefathers, which depicts the virtues of the Pilgrims. The largest statue is Faith, standing above everything else. Then seated around Faith are morality, law, education, and liberty. The male figures represent outward traits, and it is shown through their eyes having sculpted detail, while the women represent inward traits, and thus the women are looking inward and don't have sculpted detail in their eyes. One of the last stops was to see Plymouth Rock, where the Pilgrims first set foot after their long journey from England. The rock is only about 1/3 of the original rock size due to it being moved and chipped away at over the centuries. We got to touch a piece of it in one of the museums though, which was pretty cool. Across the road, we stopped at the Pilgrim Mothers Monument that had a very striking quote on the back, along with all the names of the women on the Mayflower. They brought up their families in sturdy virtue, and a living faith in God, without which nations perish. Lastly, we stopped at the Miles Standish Monument because my wife is one of his descendants. I learned more over this weekend about the Pilgrims than I've ever learned during school. There is something to be said about going to where history happened and learning the facts from somebody who has spent their whole life learning its history.